Well, I knew the story, I knew the script for quite a long time. And I really wanted to make that story because it drew my attention towards this sort of fantastic element. It was a drama, it was a very hard story, very emotional, but what called my attention was like this fantasy element that it had. This possibility of these people believing in something they're not sure it exists or not, this like a ghostly presence. But then a lot of years passed by until we actually could make the film. And by that time I realized that it was a very, very sad story and a very, very hard story to tell. So I figured out like the only way I could approach it and the only way that I really wanted to make this film happen was by kind of dressing the story with these cinema images, with this kind of from this sort of from inside the kid's point of view, in a way. So that's what I figured out it would be like what I really wanted to try in the film, like telling this story, but surrounded with this from the inside of this kid's vision. So the characters would in a way inhabit this kid's world. The only way I found I could talk about this, it was through this, through cinema. I mean, I wanted to kind of support these people with cinema, with this, I mean, surrounded with the films I loved when I was a kid, and with this idea of this devotion one has to those images and to cinema. And so even it's a very sad and tragic story, I believe it's a very hopeful one. And it's people that believes in empathy. You know, it's about that. It's about how these people can struggle with this tragedy by being together, and I mean, and cinema it's about that. It's about being in the shoes of someone else. I mean, and through that experience their emotions. And for me, the film is also about that. It's a way of how I relate to someone else's point of view, to someone else's emotion, and someone else's beliefs system. And mostly that was the idea, just to show that you can, I mean, through that love that they share, they can come over this tragedy and really, I mean, for me the film, it's in a way it's all these characters looking at the ocean in different stages. There is someone that already is seeing something, the one comes a little later, but they are sharing that vision and the way each one of them sees something different, but at the same way each one of them sees the other one and understands and they help each other about this. I think it's something about that, about empathy. It's also a story about these two friends. I mean, they've been friends throughout their lives, and this Sina, the character of Sina, the one who comes kind of a superhero to help her friend and to deal with this situation. The way she helps, for me it's very important because it's by looking at her. It's by, I mean, being the one that says, okay, I get you. I know that maybe she doesn't even look the same things. She's not able to see what her friend sees, but she believes in her, and through that she accesses those visions as well. And of course it's about people really looking to other people and sharing these visions. I mean, it's like believing in the other one, even though you don't see the same thing that they do. And that's friendship and that's love, even though that works for the whole couple as well. Just being very, very, I don't know how to say it. I mean, very loving and very tolerant with someone else's belief system or visions, and that's what cinema means for me as well. Just being able to share those inner emotions and visions and make it your own. This mysterious creature that surrounds the Linda Bay town, and the father claims to have seen, and you don't know if it exists or not. I mean, for that creature, for me, in a way, also represents cinema. I mean, it's something like this. The film is about different characters in relationship with their own childhood, in a way. You know, how you relate with your childhood memories, how do you relate with your childhood visions, and with that what's the word? But with that amazing things that you believe when you are a child, and how you see the world. And for me, the film, it's about these people, I mean, dealing with their own inner child, in a way, and with adulthood, and with loss, because I mean, growing up is losing and trying to deal with that. And that creature represents, for me, represents that, and that those childhood visions, and what it represents as well is it represents what cinema can be. That something that, even though maybe you are the only one that are looking at that, you are seeing that, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I mean, it's just like, more like if you don't see something, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and if you see something, I mean, that's what that creature means for me. That the possibility of still believing in that mesmerizing possibilities of the world, and in cinema, for me. I mean, just reconnecting with that emotion. This idea of this platform and these machines that are changing the whole environment, and also works in a way like this kind of symbolism of I mean, they destroy the natural landscape, and they put this platform, and suddenly there's no fish in the ocean, but they have to figure out something, so they create this mythology creature. Yeah, it's something about. Also talks for me about the constant changing of things, and how, I mean, how we need, in this way, we need fiction to find a way to keep going as well. In the use of some of the tone of the film, in the use of the music, or in this yeah, maybe that I was talking about this. These elements, how the music works with the kind of in a contrasty way with the scene, where the music is not there to provoke the emotion, not even to underline the emotion, just to make a contrast sometimes, so you can read that dialogue between what the music is saying. Sometimes music goes as part of the scene, and sometimes it takes kind of a distance from the scenes. So it helps you to back a bit from what is happening, and start thinking from this other point of view. So I wanted to try to make this kind of movement. So sometimes you are in the film with the characters, and sometimes you can take a little distance and see the whole picture, and then go back.